Hello, passionate Celtic FC fans. This is Celtic Central News, your exclusive source for Celtic updates. Before we kick off, we appreciate the incredible support. If you love Celtic, subscribe now, hit like, and let's build this community together. Now, on to the latest news. A warm welcome to new subscribers. Your support is crucial. Hail, hail! The football world in Scotland woke up to a proper storm this morning, and it's not just the Glasgow rain we're talking about. The name on everyone's lips is Bojan Miovski, the Macedonian forward who, until yesterday, was leading the line for Rangers. And now, out of nowhere, he's pulling on the green and white hoops of Celtic. You heard that right. Miovski, the man who was supposed to be the future of Rangers' attack, has crossed the most sacred line in Scottish football. Nobody saw it coming, no journalist caught a whisper, and even his own teammates are said to be absolutely stunned. Some say it's the biggest betrayal since Mo Johnston swapped green for blue decades ago, and for those who remember that day, the feeling is hauntingly similar. Glasgow's divided city has erupted. Pubs are buzzing, and social media is melting under the weight of disbelief. Rangers fans are furious, calling him a snake and a sellout, while Celtic supporters are laughing their heads off, calling it the coup of the decade. It's not just a transfer, it's a declaration of war, a thunderbolt straight through the heart of Scottish football loyalty. The rumour mill had been quiet, almost suspiciously calm before this bombshell dropped. Not a hint in the papers, not a murmur from any of the so-called in-the-know accounts online. Then suddenly news broke that Miovski was spotted leaving Celtic Park late last night wearing that unmistakable grin, shaking hands with club executives. Rangers fans are calling it treason, saying he's stabbed the club in the back after everything they've done for him. Just a few months ago, he was the darling of Ibrox, celebrated for his goals and commitment, hailed as a new hero in the making. But as always in football, loyalty is fragile when money and glory enter the picture. Sources close to Celtic whisper that the deal had been brewing in secret for weeks, handled by a discreet agent, and sealed after a marathon negotiation session. And apparently Celtic offered him not only a fat paycheck, but also a promise, Champions League football, and a starring role in the team's European ambitions. And that, it seems, was enough to lure him across Glasgow's Great Divide. Fans are already picking sides in this drama, with both sets of supporters lighting up social media like fireworks on bonfire night. Rangers followers feel humiliated, betrayed, and angry beyond words, saying Miovski has turned his back on the badge that gave him everything. Many of them have been burning his shirts on TikTok, flooding comment sections with snake emojis and bitter words. Meanwhile, Celtic fans are absolutely loving it. They're calling him a brave man, a player who saw the light, someone who understands what real football tradition means. Some even say it's poetic justice. After all, Celtic have lost players to their rivals before, and now the tables have turned. The tension in Glasgow is electric. Every pub conversation dominated by one question. How could he? Nobody knows exactly what pushed Miovski over the edge, whether it was ambition, greed, or simply a chance to make history. But one thing's certain, he's ignited one of the fiercest football feuds the country has seen in years, and it's only just beginning. Inside sources are whispering about how Rangers management found out only hours before the deal was announced. Apparently, Miovski's agent submitted the transfer request in the middle of the night, leaving the club blindsided. There are even claims that the player skipped training the next morning, heading straight to Celtic Park for his medical. The shock in the Rangers dressing room was palpable. Players stunned, some refusing to believe it until they saw the photos. One insider said the mood was funeral-like, with the manager furious but helpless. The clause in his contract apparently made it possible for him to leave if a European club came calling, and Celtic technically qualified. Clever, sneaky, and devastatingly executed. By the time Rangers higher-ups realized what was happening, it was already too late, and now Miovski's signature is inked, the shirts printed, the announcement video ready. You can bet Celtic's media team are grinning ear to ear because they know exactly how much this will hurt. It's not just about football. It's about pride, identity, and one of the biggest middle fingers in Scottish sporting history. What makes this twist even more explosive is that Miovski was supposedly settled in Glasgow's blue half. He'd spoken in interviews about his love for the fans, how he felt at home at Ibrox, and how he dreamed of lifting trophies in blue. All words that now sound hollow, almost mocking as clips resurface of him kissing the badge and declaring his loyalty. The timing couldn't have been worse either. Rangers are still fighting for the league title, and losing their main striker mid-season feels like sabotage. Celtic, on the other hand, have played this to perfection, striking a psychological blow that could rattle their rivals both on and off the pitch. Some pundits are already calling it a masterclass in mind games, a transfer that's worth more in symbolism than in footballing terms. And let's be honest, the first Old Firm derby after this move is going to be absolute carnage. Imagine the noise, the banners, the chants. Miovski will walk into that cauldron wearing green, and he'll either become a legend or a villain for life. No middle ground, no forgiveness, no escape from the roar of 60,000 furious voices. Even neutral fans across Scotland are in disbelief. It's not every day you see a player cross the Glasgow divide. In fact, it's almost football blasphemy. The last time something like this happened, it left scars that still haven't healed, and this one might cut even deeper. The football phone-ins are packed, pundits can't stop arguing, and every pub TV seems glued to the same headline. What makes it even juicier is that Celtic are rumoured to have paid a modest fee, a bargain for a striker of Miovski's quality, which only adds salt to Rangers' wound. Some fans are already accusing the club's board of incompetence for letting it happen, saying they should have locked him down with a better contract. Others believe there's more to the story, maybe a fallout behind the scenes, a broken promise, or a deal that went sour. Whatever the reason, this transfer has turned Scottish football upside down, and the echoes will be heard for years. The question now isn't just what happens next, but whether Glasgow will ever forgive or forget this outrageous act of football rebellion. The fallout from Bojan Miovski's shocking move to Celtic has turned into a full-blown national obsession. Every sports show, podcast, and pub in Scotland is dissecting every detail, every whisper, every angle of how this could have happened. Celtic Park was buzzing this morning, fans lining up to buy the new shirts with Miovski's name printed across the back, singing songs about stealing from the blue. Meanwhile, Ibrox has turned into a fortress of fury, with fans gathering outside the gates demanding answers. Some are even calling for a lifetime ban, saying Miovski should never be allowed to set foot near the stadium again. You can feel the bitterness in the air. It's not just a transfer, it's a betrayal that cuts deep into the city's soul. In football, emotion always trumps logic, and Glasgow lives and breathes that truth. Every pundit has their theory. Some say Celtic planned this months ago. Others think Miovski's agent orchestrated it for pure profit. Whatever the truth, the damage is done. Scotland's most famous rivalry has found a new villain, and his name will echo through the stands for years. Bojan Miovski, the traitor who crossed the line. Today's press conference at Celtic Park was absolute theatre. Cameras flashing, microphones buzzing, and every journalist fighting for a word from the man at the center of the chaos. Miovski walked in calm and confident, dressed in Celtic green, smiling like he knew exactly what he was doing. When asked about the backlash, he simply said, "Football is about ambition, not fear." You could hear gasps around the room, bold words, especially given the fury brewing on the other side of the city. Celtic's manager stood beside him, praising his talent and professionalism, calling him the missing piece in their title charge. Outside, hundreds of fans chanted his name, holding banners that read, "Welcome home, Bojan." For them, he's not a traitor. He's a hero who had the courage to break boundaries. Meanwhile, in the Rangers camp, silence. The manager refused interviews, players looked broken, and fans accused the board of weakness. It feels like Glasgow is split in half all over again, and this transfer has become something bigger than football. It's pride versus betrayal, ambition versus loyalty, and every minute that passes, the legend of this move grows stronger, darker, and more unforgettable. What's fascinating is how this saga has spilled far beyond Scotland. European media outlets are running with the story, calling it one of the boldest and most controversial moves in modern football. Spanish and Italian pundits are comparing it to Figo's infamous switch from Barcelona to Real Madrid, while English tabloids are dubbing Miovski the Glasgow Judas. The players' social media pages have exploded, hundreds of thousands of comments, most of them filled with rage, shock, or disbelief. Some Macedonian fans have even jumped into the chaos, defending their star and praising him for his courage to chase greatness. Yet it's hard to ignore the sheer weight of emotion behind it all. This isn't just about footballing ambition, it's about identity, passion, and loyalty, the things that make Scottish football so fiercely unique. Celtic supporters are basking in the glow of victory, knowing they've landed not just a striker, but a psychological triumph over their greatest rivals. Rangers fans, though, feel humiliated, betrayed, and broken. And in the middle of it all stands Bojan Miovski, smiling, calm, and unapologetic, the man who turned Scotland's football world upside down with one signature. The first training session with his new teammates was, by all accounts, electric. Cameras surrounded Lennoxtown as Miovski jogged out in Celtic colours for the first time, waving to fans and sharing a few words with his new colleagues. The club's social media team didn't waste a second. Within minutes, a polished video dropped showing slow-motion clips of him scoring goals, smiling with the coach, and posing with the Celtic crest. The caption, "Welcome to paradise." Simple, bold, and perfectly timed. It was pure marketing genius, and it sent shockwaves through every Rangers supporter's heart. Over at Ibrox, fans continued to burn scarves, demand resignations, and flood talk shows with anger. But even amid the chaos, some voices of reason have emerged, admitting that Miovski's move might push Rangers to rethink their entire strategy. Losing your best striker hurts, but being outplayed in the transfer market hurts even more. Celtic have struck gold here, not just on the pitch, but in the minds of their rivals. This is psychological warfare at its finest, and the season hasn't even reached its peak. The tension before the next Old Firm clash is already unbearable. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. As journalists dig deeper, new details are starting to leak out. Word is that Majowski's relationship with the Rangers management had been souring quietly for months. Disagreements over bonuses, frustration with tactics, and whispers of broken promises had created cracks behind the scenes. Apparently, Celtic's approach wasn't as spontaneous as it looked. They'd been watching the situation closely, waiting for the right moment to strike. One anonymous source claims Majowski's agent had been in talks with Celtic weeks before the transfer, but everyone involved swore secrecy under ironclad NDAs. It's almost cinematic the way it all unfolded. A secret deal, a midnight medical, a signed contract revealed only when it was too late to stop it. If true, it's not just a story about football, it's a story about betrayal and strategy at the highest level. Rangers, blindsided and boiling with anger, have vowed to never let something like this happen again. Celtic, meanwhile, are celebrating a victory that transcends the scoreboard. And for Majowski, love him or hate him, he's now part of a legend, one written in green and white, sealed with controversy and courage. And so, as the dust begins to settle, one thing has become clear. Scottish football will never be the same again. This transfer has reignited the fire of the old firm rivalry like nothing else in recent memory. The next time these two giants clash, the atmosphere will be volcanic, chants echoing, tempers flaring, and every camera lens locked on one man. Bojan Majowski might have thought he was just changing clubs, but he's become something far more significant. He's a symbol, a villain, a hero, depending on which half of Glasgow you ask. In a sport where loyalty and passion define everything, he's rewritten the rules, daring to step where few have survived. Maybe time will soften the outrage, or maybe it will fuel it forever. Either way, his name is carved into the story of Scottish football now. Impossible to erase the betrayal, the headlines, the sheer madness of it all. It's the stuff of legend, and as every pint is poured tonight across Scotland, there's only one topic worth talking about: Bojan Majowski, the man who crossed the line and changed everything. The fans will sing his name until the final whistle, and long after the match ends, the chants will drift through the night like a promise renewed. In football, homecomings are rare, but when they happen like this, they remind us why we fell in love with the game. Odsonne Edouard has come full circle, and as he walks through the mist and noise of Celtic Park, one truth will ring louder than all others: paradise never forgets its own, because in football, sometimes the hope itself, the rumor, the waiting, the imagination of what could be, is just as powerful as the reality. And tonight, under the glow of the park headlights, hope is exactly what's keeping Glasgow alive. Hello, fan, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.